6 hours, 13 minutes, 27 seconds. I just had to stop it again. I think I have about 40 odd minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. I am kind of down with my energy and stuff, realizing that we're up against basically a demonic force of people that not only dehumanized young women, children, but systematically did this to a race of people where they would do the unthinkable to them, like force them to have their babies or force them to get abortions and like have sex with like, you know, crude objects and even animals too. Group sex is like the big one. And like, I know I throw shade at the Pakis, the Punjabis, right, for just posseing up, being of like this like very tight knit group of people. But then you kind of realize that like that's kind of their behavior, their inequality, their inability to please a woman, their small dick, and like they got to gang rape a little kid. And then why wouldn't you get a bunch of like old ass people? But like the scary detail is like the age of these perpetrators. Like they're going up there in their 40s and their 50s. Ah, happy birthday to me. I am 41 years old today, ladies and gentlemen. It's late at night. Excuse my lack of usual gravitas and whatever. I'm trying to keep my voice down a little bit. But we got to talk about it. We know you don't also got to talk about it. I didn't actually want to talk about it because it's like, um, so towards like I think the latter half of the video, the six, so it was basically almost 7 hours, like 8 minutes shy of 7 hours. Long minute video, like towards the end, like say like 2/3 to 3/4 of the way in, they were like using this like quotation of the Quran verses and all this stuff. And Asmund Gold was constantly getting confused about this term called thighing, right? Now I'm actually familiar with it because I looked it up in the Quran to like, specify like what is this about their their love of children, their liking of like, prepubescent kids and shit. And then when you actually look up what thighing is, that's what Muhammad did to Aisha before they consummated. Like he was basically jerking off on her clothes and shit with her thighs because he's so fucking horny and stuff. God knows why, but well, we all know why. These are subhuman creatures. These are subhuman animals. This was a lie told to us all that we are all equals, and this is the aggressive force. This is the pursuing force that victimizes and rapes white women, specifically white women. They go after other women, but they want white women the most because not only are they the most sexually attracted to them, but they think of them as using them as a utility to increase their status in their home country and shit. I mean, the country that they call home now, that they're invading into. And it's like one of those realizations that they can't call anywhere their home anymore. People read this shit and they're revolting. Even other Muslims look at this and are just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why are you acting like this? And I think it's like an isolated thing to like these Arabs, these terrorists, these Punjabis, these Pakis, but I could be wrong about that. There's like, some Somalians involved or some, whatever, right? So, what is solved by bringing this to into the public? Well, first of all, we get a little bit of closure. For the longest time, these motherfuckers have been playing this stupid ass game. Sadiq Khan's especially, that, oh, you can't be touched. Well, of course you're gonna be touched. We're gonna find out how badly. But there's one thing, right? Which is the justice system. And then there's another thing, which is what everyone else is gonna do to you after the fact. And not just to you, to everybody on your fucking team, man. On your side. People who are siding against you. Sorry, with you. People who said refugees, welcome here. You got a big ass target on your back for the rest of your life, the rest of your existence. Some of you are waiting for that, like you look forward to it, but that's the thing, you're not going to see it coming. Like the most of the people who are aggressive like this, they know that like they could just get at you whenever they fucking want. It's game over, right? Can you believe it? You're living in the digital age. You're on camera, okay? You're on social media. Everybody knows who you are. Everybody can get to you. It's only a matter of time. Keir Starmer, City God, talking about like, this is inflammatory. It's not true. It's just the right wing making this shit up. It's all made up. So explain why, like all these testimonies, they do the exact same thing. They call them pig dogs, have them have sex with like weird ways. Group sex is the big one. Yo, I gotta give it up for the Packies though. They're like repping that faggot cause of theirs. You know what I mean? Like they're the real homosexual pro LGBT, you know, in the worst ways possible, though, right? Like you don't want to be involving little kids in your fucking faggot sex play. If you're gonna be fags that you were born to be the fags you were born to be. Because, like I said, and now I'm more emboldened to say it. Why should they reproduce? They shouldn't. You know who should? Me. I should. Because their entire race is fucking retarded. Nothing good will be salvaged of them. And like the way they treated those women, those little girls actually, their families, even abusing little babies. There was one part where they were talking about abusing like a little 1 year old baby or something like that, so like really young infant and stuff. And there was like, I don't even want to say it. Okay, like it's in the report. You can go read it's basically they tried to have sex with the baby is what I'm trying to say. Or they did have sex with them. I don't fucking care, man. Kill these people. They need to die. Not just them, like their entire fucking race. The entire fucking race needs to fucking go. They think that they fucking belong there in the fucking country, waving their fucking flag, shouting for Khalistan, Pakistan, Iran, pretending like they're all different and shit. You fucking retard ass inbreds do the exact same thing to women all the time. Rape them, gang rape them, call them impure, and then rape them. So if they're impure, if they're unclean, why are you having sex with them? Aren't you supposed to be some like holy artifact or something? Some sort of holy relic? Relic from the past of camel fuck? Camel fuck past, man. Like the whole idea that these motherfuckers are gang raping like little kids. Like think about that. Like you watch porn and shit, right? Some of you guys out there, and it's like, yeah, you have the whole mystique of it all. Like everyone's an adult, and it's like it's all cool and shit. And now apply that in like the most hellish ass terms, and it's like if you were just to take out the aspect of these little girls getting sexually assaulted, which is the most important part. I'm not trying to like take that aspect away from it, but if you just look at it and subtract that image, right? You just have a bunch of pathetic ass men who couldn't like please a woman, and so they have to like fantasize about being the man that they never could be. Like the Pakistani men will never be men. You'll always be bitches. You'll always be bitches. Same thing with the Sikhs. It's gonna come out, right? And Aspen doesn't have the reports because these are pretty recent ones. He doesn't have the Huddersfield one. He doesn't know about Jaskar and Judge. And I actually left that point unanswered in my last video post. Sorry, because it's like these details are like pretty gruesome, graphic. I'm a little like smoking a lot of cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to cope, right? So what I was trying to say is, since a lot of these guys, right, like to film these girls as they victimize, like the dumb. I was just like commenting on how stupid it is, but like what I was trying to get at is, since they do that, there's a black market or something like that. The dark web, I guess, where you can go and watch this shit. Or like I think they have like Facebook groups or some sort of like like social media thing like Snapchat or some shit. Now, think about that for a second. There's a black market out there for little young underage white girls getting raped. There's a black market for that. And there's people who jerk off to that. There was a story in Canada about this like couple, and this guy, Sikh guy, had a bunch of that shit on his phone. Like, why are we constantly pretending that we have friends? Oh, we know the good one. They're not all like this. This is one of those things where I think this is the thing that Islam hates the most, but they walked right into this. They walked right into the melting pot. Okay, not only is apostasy going to hit its all-time high, but also you're going to start seeing like people just questioning Islam, just like outright saying, yo, this is fucked up, man. Like, we can't have these people here anymore. We can't have genital mutilations. We can't have people torturing people like this. We can't have people like this angry. Like, this is a case for why we need castration. Like, these kinds of crimes warrant castration. Like, these guys who do this need to be castrated. I know, like, some people want to see them killed or tortured or whatever. No, I just want to see. Well, actually, the torture part is pretty good. Yeah, but I want them castrated. Want the number one threat that they possess is gone. They can't, fucking rape little kids. There was actually this one guy who got castrated in Pakistan, and somehow he's still like raping girls with like knives and shit. He's fucked in the head. They're fucked in the head, dude. Diversity is your strength? No, it's not. No, it's not. And it's like, here's the thing. This number that's come out is most likely a number that not only is a downplay on the actual number, because we're seeing in the reports that some of these girls, they don't make it back alive. They're just not. This is like one of the biggest tragedies because it involves like basically the most vulnerable women out there. We're talking about like single mothers, drug abuse, people with like learning disabilities or whatever, right? And then swarms of Pakistani guys in taxi cabs, Punjabi, speaking Punjabi and shit. As one of the girls, like, they got kidnapped. It's like, yo, you gotta learn how to speak Punjabi and Urdu and learn how to cook for me. And she's like, fucking hell, man. She's gotta be your mom and shit, and she's like a kid. It's the most horrifying, most evil kind of predation you've ever heard of in your entire life. And it's on my birthday, too. It's funny because these gangs, right? They prey on Sikh girls, right? And you think to yourself that, well, yeah, of course, they couldn't be involved if like they're trying to defend their own people, right? It couldn't be more further from the truth. Like, there's some Indian guys getting involved. There's some like whatever. It's a fucking shared secret, and I kind of knew this about like some brown peoples and shit. Is that like they constantly like to talk and talk behind your back and like laugh and shit. It's like it's always some kind of fucking game to them. They don't take anything seriously for them. Like, what are they really all about? It kind of figures that like, you know, they don't want you around because oh, you got a little sister. Oh, you're too hesitant. You're too moral. You know what I mean? It's that fucking realization that people from certain places in this world are just the fucking worst. And they'll do anything and everything in their power to hide that from you. And then you find out, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think you should be staying here anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just trying to say the truth. You know, there's certain things that happen in this world that are done by large groups of people, mostly guys that hang out in large groups. You know, And I'm not trying to say that like every single guy that is like super popular or whatever, right? But I'm saying that that is a very common thing, is like the camaraderie of men to rely on other men. I kind of have the bitch nature, you know what I mean? I grew up in an environment where associating with cops mean you were a bitch and shit. Like, and nowadays it's just like a very common thing. You know, there's no honor, there's no dignity, there's no um, separation of like the justice system and the criminal world. They're synonymous, one and the same. And like the idea that these people in the government are incompetent is becoming less and less of a possibility, and it's more likely that they were participating in it and they just wanted, you know, not only the money that was involved, but like the sex play. It's a fucking crazy world that we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. That people will consider preteens, you know, sexually attractive, I guess. Like, what the fuck do you even say to that? Like, again, like I could see why Asmongold wants to like, you know, and also Rupert Lowe wants to table the death penalty for these criminals. But I think that, you know, castration has to be, you know, especially when you like make sure that people see it, like you televise it and shit. But the fear of God is people, you know. But we gotta talk about also what do these people do? Because if they don't want to leave, right, then obviously we have to do the whole replacement thing, right? The reverse of what they were trying to do to us, right back to them. And I think that like we won't actually have too much of an issue in that regard. Like if Jazleen has taught us anything, it's that, you know, you could just join that roster and you guys will be fine. I don't know about me. I think I'm in the dark skinned department, so I might not. Oh, what the fuck? No, but for real though, like you have to think about the long term effects of like having a group of people who are vastly inferior to you and will always seek to do this kind of mayhem and violence upon you with the aid of women of all things. You know, like Muslim women, mothers, sisters, aunts, daughters. And you can argue it's under the threat of violence, which it is, but it's like, it doesn't mean anything because you're just letting your fellow woman getting hurt and shit. It's like, yo, fuck you, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about your fucking own personal struggles and shit. Your own personal struggles just like watching some girl get raped in front of your fucking face and shit. And like watching dogs rape a girl and shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? They gotta die. They do have to die. You gotta get their dick chopped off first. I don't know. I'm just like on that shit. You know what I mean? Like you used it, now you lose it. I don't know, man. I hit 41 and I realized something, that I made a terrible mistake in being this like hopeless romantic type of guy. Because in the end, like I ended up just asking way too many questions. It's like, why now? Why are you here now? Why is it like something that I have to suffer for? I have to like prove myself for? Like it's just like so dumb to me. Whereas now I'm pluralist and I see it as like not just for my sake, but for my wife's sake, and for the human race, you know. Just take multiple women, have multiple wives, have a bunch of kids. Raise your kids, obviously. That's the big one. But like, you know, as a preventative measure, I think there's a lot of people out there who will agree with me. And I hope some guys out there can do the same because it's like a quality that I only think guys have. Right? Let's be honest. Guys, only guys can do this. And it was like kind of like downplayed in the fact that like we could do it, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, technically we can do this. It's not something like I really embellish that much, but like as an option for a solution to a problem being presented before us. I mean, I'm going through this video. About 40 minutes left. Like, I don't even know what the fuck else he has left to say. And it just. I think I like one or two more cigarettes left. I was just, you know. Like it's already my birthday today. You know what I mean? Setting up this video to you guys. I love. Yeah, just chilling and shit, pumping iron. I should be playing more other video games, like, I tried Marathon, and I literally just got, like, floored, and, like, they had a team on me, though. I was playing solo. They had a team on me. But I got, like, sniped up, and I got, like, killed in, like, 3-4 seconds or something like that. It was fucking sad. Well, yeah. Just enjoying the luxuries of living in a free, somewhat free, democratic society. You know what I mean? Because we have to also embrace the fact that they are indeed creating the fourth world. Like this shit that like I started, it was like an hour or something in, 2 hours in or something. I finished like whatever, and towards the end of it, I kind of got lazy. And I just started playing Risk of Rain, and that's where that footage came from. Uh, Towards the end of it, and then like after I got sick of it playing Risk of Rain, went out for another smoke. Like the details are really bad, dude. They're so bad that I can't believe that not only I was so like completely right and vindicated about it, but it's gonna be something that people are gonna talk about for like centuries to come, not even years to come, centuries. Like I don't even think people realize the scope of how bad this is and what was done to these people and the systematic murder and like elimination of these people and how nonchalant how like everybody in the government was just like, oh, these young like not able to consent, primary schoolers or junior high or whatever the fuck they call middle school or something. Schoolers are just like able to consent with these like full ass grown adults and shit. They like want to go in the cars with them and like celebrate good times and yeah, have cigarettes and alcohol and they're dirty girls and shit. No man, it's all like a very smart and like systematic coercion. So I use Jaskar Judge as a perfect example of it, right? Because he's not part of a grooming gang per se, but he uses those tactics, like much like Ray Dow over here getting trapped in this sand pit. You get trapped in this like, oh, I'm gonna send in my little cousin. He's gonna be your friend, and it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna be friends. And then like, yo, check out my cool older cousin. He drives this like Range Rover and has like lots of money from his Sikh family and shit. And he begins to like, form like grooming bond with these like young girls and shit, and then proceeds to sexually assault them and shit. And he films it on camera and shit too. Right? It's kind of like the idea that was hard coded into their culture, and it's a sad realization that when you read these details, there's a high possibility that these guys are born of rape. Like they're brought into this world because of that, and nobody's talking about it or nobody knows about it because it's a secret that they're probably gonna take to the grave, and as unrealistic and as rude as like a possibility that people would have thought of in the past. It's like, oh, you can't say that about people. Like, what the fuck? They have families, they have grandparents, they have great grandparents. Like, well, yeah, you would assume, right? But what if? And you see the children born of these like grooming gangs and shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go watch the last little bit after I have my last smoke and shit. Part 3 is gonna come out tomorrow. Maybe, before lunchtime and shit. Oh my god, dude. I feel sorry for everybody who has to, like, read or watch parts of that or find out about it secondhand. It's not, it's not something to be proud of, to be fair, to be right, to be vindicated. It's foolishness.